We've been talking a lot about homebrew, open source projects, devices this day, but of course there's also a commercial side to software-defined radio, and I'm very happy that we also see industrial and commercial research on SDR, and I'm very, very happy that we've always had a contribution from FlexRadio. FlexRadio is the company that has supported us from the very beginning here in the SDRA, and today I'd like to welcome on the stage W4AX, Mack McCormick, on how SDR technology will change how you operate HF. Please give a warm welcome to Mack.
Good afternoon, everyone, and habe ich gewohnt in Deutschland für 7 Jahre, aber das war schon 40 Jahre. So habe ich viele... Okay, all right. Schönen guten Tag. So, habe ich gewohnt in Deutschland für 7 Jahre, aber das war schon 40 Jahre und habe ich viele Deutsch gelernt. So, es tut mir leid, muss ich auf English sprechen. So, I'll switch to English now, so apologies. But I could probably understand your question if it's in German. Okay, well, this is not a commercial for FlexRadio. I'm going to talk about how we solved a problem that we saw in the marketplace and help you to understand what is underneath the architecture of what we are doing. So we have a new technology we have just introduced called multiFLEX, and I'll explain what that is. And I'll also explain how that works. So for now, I'm going to be talking only about multiFLEX, but I can talk about any other topic that you would like to discuss. So, we are trying to solve the problem where you can have 2 operators use the same physical radio at the same time with 2 independent stations, 2 independent radios that they see, but there's only 1 physical radio. And so that's what we're trying to solve, and I'll show you how that is done. And so the external software needs to think it is working on a single radio. So you may have 2 users, both thinking they are on a single radio, and we also have to have tools to be able to share the transmitter. And I'll give you examples of use cases for those. And this technology works on every Flex 6000 series radio, regardless of the model. So here it is in a picture. So in this picture, you see 2 maestros connected via the internet or local to a single flex radio. That's what we're trying to solve. It does not have to be a maestro. It can be a PC, it can be an iPad, it can be a Macintosh, it can be an iPhone. Any of those clients, any 2 of those clients could connect to the radio, and the operator would think they are operating a radio all to themselves. You follow so far? Okay, good. Am I speaking too quickly? All right. So we connect any 2 clients, we can share the radio, but think about this. This now allows 2 operators to use a single physical radio. So think of the cost. You no longer have to buy 2 physical radios. You can use 1 physical radio and share it. And it also allows for enhanced remote operation. And it truly is one-of-a-kind contest capability. So think if you were running a multi-single operation, multiple operators, single transmitter, you could have 2 operators using the same radio. You would not have to buy 2 radios as you would today for that operation. And I'll show you examples of this. So here's just the very basic architecture. So you have 2 clients connecting to SmartSDR, which is the radio here. The radio is this bottom layer, and we are virtualizing the radio. So we are taking the radio as a virtual machine. It is a server. We are virtualizing the radio. And we are expressing this through client software so that the client thinks they own a VFO A and B on each client. You don't have to hold questions to the end if you have questions, if something's not clear. So that's the basic architecture of what we're trying to do, is a virtualized radio. And right now it supports 2 clients. There's the possibility that it could support 8 clients if we extend this architecture. Today it's new technology. We're testing with 2 clients very successfully. So one of these clients could be on the internet. So you might be in your station and sharing your radio with a friend anywhere in the world via the internet. But now it gets complicated. Think in your typical station that you're operating, you might have a logging software program running. This shows N1MM Plus running. You might have CW Skimmer running. You might have WSJT running. You might have any other number of clients running on your computer. So how does the software know which computer goes with which client? Because you have all of these clients, and how do they know to match up to this computer? That's the problem that has to be solved. So we extend that architecture so that we tie, as you see with the green arrows, the virtual client with this logging software to the actual radio client. And there might be on an individual station 8 virtual clients that are all tied together or more. There's no limitation. So they all know that this is the association between those 2. So then you have the concept of, and this is a contest example, you could have a run station on the left and a multi-station on the right, and there are, in our radios, there are 0 to 8 slices, depending on the model. This shows a radio with 4 slices. This client could be using slice 0 and 1, and this client would be using slice 2 and 3. But they wouldn't know that. They would only know they have a VFO and a VFOB on both clients. So this was designed by FlexRadio from the beginning to support this hardware virtualization. Makes sense so far? Okay. So now, what do you do about sharing a transmitter? You only have one transmitter, so only one person can transmit at a time. So in this case, we have the client on the left on 14.1 and the client on the right on 7.025. We have the virtualized machine. How do we know who is transmitting and who has control? Because that's another virtualization problem. So to do that, in this case, the transmitter on the left will be transmitting, and you see they have an indicator that comes up that is a solid red TX symbol that says, I am transmitting. The partner knows that he cannot use the transmitter because he has a white TX symbol that says, my partner is transmitting right now. I can't use the transmitter. If he tried, it would be locked out, just like it would in a contest station, locked out in software. And over here, you just see the opposite, when the partner is transmitting and the other station is not. But then, this brings forward some use case examples. So that is the basic virtualization scheme, but so what? What can you do with it? So there are many examples, and I've used all of these. You can share a radio with a friend or family. So I can be on the radio doing what I want to do, and a friend or family can have access to my radio also at the same time on a completely different frequency, completely different band, etc., to use the radio as well. And if there is a monitor software function built in so that I can hear what, if I choose to, you don't have to, I can hear what he is saying or transmitting via paddle, CW, or vice versa, so that we can hear each other and know that one is transmitting and when their transmission is complete. So you might say 599, if you're in CW, 599 and whatever the rest of the exchange is, and then the other partner would know it's okay to transmit if they were, for example, a multiplier station. And this could all be done over the internet. okay? So this immediately brings to mind, and this has been tested by world-class contesters already. Craig Thompson, Kilo 9 Charlie Tango, has used this successfully in a contest with Multi-1. So he used to have 4 physical radios to have 2 stations, or two sets of operators. Now he has 2 radios with 2 operators each that he can do multi-1 contesting, and he placed very well using this. And so it reduces the cost of having multiple radios and the complexity of the cabling and lockout, etc. So an example is a friend could bring a PC or a Maestro to your station. One could run and one could search for mults. You could share antennas, amplifiers, radios, and there's no other radio today that has this capability, so there's a huge cost savings. You can also have one of your partners operating remotely over the internet. So we have had contests run in this situation where both partners are on the internet sitting in their home QTH, and the station is at an ideal location thousands of kilometers away, potentially. And you're both able to have a contest experience on that radio. A ham club. So if you have a ham club and you want to have a transmitter or a radio and you want to share it among members, this gives you the ability to have multiple people share the same transmitter. The software doesn't cost anything. It comes with the radio. And this allows you to have people on there. So think about a situation, you could use a ham club station as a receiving antenna for your local station as well. Think about, this is a situation that I'll play for you. This is actually my home station. And on the left is a radio, the right rather, is a radio in Texas, several thousand kilometers away. And I live in Georgia, and I'm on the left. And we're working, and we're both on the same frequency here, and we're trying to work this station. So if I click on this, let me just try this. It doesn't play. So, but the point would be that there would be, the station on the right can hear a station that I cannot hear. And I'm able to work them in a contest just by switching to his transmitter and working it. So think of chasing DX. I chase a lot of DX, and I live on the East Coast of the United States. I have a friend on the West Coast in California. We can share, and we can both be on the same frequency, and if I cannot hear a station that's in the Pacific, I can switch to his radio very quickly, work it, and come back. And that counts for DXCC. Unless you're a purist and you say it must be at my home. But legally it counts for DXCC. And he can vice versa work stations in Europe, etc., from my station. And we're on the same frequency and we can hear things that the other cannot hear. So you can have any number of displays. You can have a PC. You can have a Maestro as shown here. You can also have the ability to have 2 clients at your station, and you can be zoomed in on the area you're working on one client, just the CW portion right here where you're working, and you can have another client on the complete CW portion of a band, as an example, looking at the whole band at the same time. So you have real-time visibility into the whole band. So we have brought this out with 2.4. With 3.0, we've released that. We've also done a point release of the version 2 software. We've unified the code base so that software in 3.0 that is not unique to 3.0 version 2 contains all of the bug fixes, et cetera, that are in 3.0, but not the new feature. That has to be turned on. And so there's no charge for any version 2 upgrade. Or if you purchase version 3, no charge there. So, the future is, new capabilities and defect fixes. We're continuing to work that. There will be additional releases of 3.0. We're already testing one. You can come to the booth and see it if you would like. And we'll roll the ones we can back into 2.0. But let's discuss just a moment some of the future things that could happen. And maybe you've already thought of these. Is anyone here familiar with the concept of ALE, which is, I've just lost the acronym. Anybody remember the acronym for ALE? Let me describe it. It does have an acronym. ALE means the ability to contact an individual user on the best band for your propagation and on the best frequency where you can both talk to each other. So both transmitters are beaconing on many different frequencies and testing the propagation at low power between your station and other stations. Yeah, thank you. Automatic link establishment. Thank you. I could not remember the acronym. So the ability it builds a table, and let's say I want to call my friend here, Norbert, Delta Juliet 7, Juliet Charlie. I want to call him, but we don't have a schedule or anything, but I just want to talk with him. I can type in his call sign. The computer would know, or the radio would know, that the best frequency and the best band to reach Norbert on is this one, 20 meters, as an example. It would call him on his radio. There would be an alert. If he accepts the call, we're now talking on the best possible frequency for that user. So that's called automatic link establishment. I appreciate you helping there. So that's one thing we're looking at. That technology is available, and it's it's only software. It can be integrated into the FlexRadio. Any questions on ALE and how that would work? Another thing we're looking at is machine learning. Have people here heard of machine learning? Where the machine does a lot of intelligent analysis of the data. So we are looking at machine learning where all of the data, we are essentially sampling all of the ham bands with a direct sampling receiver. If we could take all of that data and through machine learning, which is artificial intelligence, take that data and then draw conclusions and guide you where to go for the maximum number of contacts at a contest or the maximum number of multipliers, and it would all be presented in a dashboard to you by the machine that would aid your operating. Or you could be a purist where you just want to spin the dial. But if you want the maximum amount of automation, that's the kind of thing we're looking at in terms of cutting edge developments. So those are just a couple of things. There are many others, but I just wanted you to be thinking about what is the next thing in SDR. I found the last talk on Kiwi SDR fascinating because we've also looked at doing something like that. So that's a very, very timely topic. So, Flex will be providing all the radios for PickCarne. Is that the way it's pronounced? PickCarne? 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 Someone help? How does it? PickCarne. PickCarne. Okay. Well, we'll be providing all of the radios for that de-expedition and amplifiers, et cetera, so that it will be an all-flex de-expedition. So that is the plan there. Okay, that's, I thought this has not been a Flex advertisement, or it's not intended to be. It's really been to be what are the possibilities and what is the next thing. I've talked about virtualization of the hardware, multiple clients, additional capabilities, And those are all possibilities within the world of SmartSDR. Okay, are there any questions? Doesn't have to be about this, it can be about anything.
Hi, EI5GT. So, have you any plans to integrate data modes into more closely into the radio itself? So, i.e., things like FT8 directly in SmartSDR.
So we've made a conscious decision not to do that, and let me explain why. We may, in fact, bring in a very common mode like RTTY or CWD code. That's easy. But let's take FT8 as an example. I think I'm an active FT8 user. I think I have seen 3 or 4 versions of FT8 come out this year from Joe Taylor, who's a friend of mine and I deeply respect. Imagine if we integrated that, all of the development and changes we would have to make in the radio to support JT4 or JT8 or any new mode that is added. So we've made the conscious decision to keep software packages that are not very, very common outside the radio. It focused on building the best hardware and the best client for the radio. So that's just a decision. We only have limited software engineer resources. If we had to tie someone up for, I don't know, 1-2 weeks, whatever amount of time it took to integrate JT4 now, that's time we can't spend on some of the other developments that I was talking about. And Joe does a great job. And we easily integrate with WSJT. Other questions? Yes, sir.
HP9 ASV. You talked about this version 3, but I missed it. Is it already in final development?
Yes, no,
or
it's released.
It's already released.
You can get it on your radio
today. For two
Correct.
operators. Okay.
And there will soon be, within 1 to 2 weeks, an update to that, which is free.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get it today.
And if I would upgrade version 1, I'm running version 1 on a 6300. That would be possible to upgrade it, maybe not directly.
No, you can go directly from 1 to 3.
From 1 to 3, that's
Skip
possible.
2.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Looks very fine.
We test all
because
of that.
I actually have this problem. I have to move to another flat where I probably have no high-frequency antenna, but my friend has an excellent antenna, and we could share by this way my 6300.
You split the cost of the radio?
Yeah, will be very fine.
I talk to many people who share the cost of the radio and share the cost of a good antenna, and then 2 friends or colleagues can use it at the same time.
I studied about this solution, but it became very complicated in organizing who can do what at which time. That's
well, we showed you that.
No, I think you solved the problem. But if you do it by yourself with another solution, it becomes very complicated.
We tried to make it as simple as we could, so that the hardware is completely forgotten. Yeah. It's only the client you have to think about.
Sounds very good. Thank you very much.
Any more questions?
VK3KGS. I think you've already said it, but and I only just before I left, I rolled version 3 onto my 6600, but I haven't had a chance to play with the virtual client stuff. That's already there, is it?
It's all there.
Yeah.
In other words, when you go home, you can start SmartSDR on your PC, and you have a Maestro.
Yep. No, just straight SmartSDR.
You can start it on your PC, then on another PC you can start another instance of SmartSDR, and you can have both connected.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it works right now. Anything else? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for your attention. And this is a wonderful forum. We learn a lot from you as well. We always invite you to share your thoughts on our community website, and we will do our best to try to implement them. We have many developments. We recently did a survey. We have much great feedback from users, and we're working on implementing that into our software. Thank you to my friend Norbert, who was here to help translate if necessary, but wasn't necessary. And I thank you all, and have a schönes Wochenende.